Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for hopping on to join our Seller Shield SkySlope demo for you here today. I know we're right at that hour mark, so we're going to give everybody
Kira, we
just
can't hear you.
Oh, no. Testing. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Okay, awesome. All right, guys, so hopefully that little sound issue there was just a quick blip, but here we're going to go ahead and get started shortly on our SkySlope Sellers Shield demo here. Just a few notes, this recording will be on eXp Solutions, so this is going to be accessible through YouTube. You'll see that banner running down at the bottom of our screen here as a reminder. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, we'll give ourselves just about one more minute, let everybody hop on and join us here, and we'll dive right in. All right, so hoping everyone had a chance to get settled here as we get started. Once again, if you've just hopped on, thank you for joining our SkySlope Seller Shield demo for you here today. We've got lots of good stuff, so we can go ahead and dive right in. So right out the gate, earlier this year, we launched Seller Shield integration as part of the eXp Solutions to really simplify and strengthen the disclosure process. So that's what we're going to talk more about here today. The Seller Shield provides, kind of think of like TurboTax style experience there for those seller disclosures, making sure that everything is complete, accurate, and thorough. So this platform requires mandatory responses, including expert tips, definitions, so all things that we're going to dive into our demo here today. So let's go ahead and get started. So of course, the very first question, as eXp agents, we're thinking to ourselves, why would we make a change? Why are we going to choose to use Seller Shield? Well, this is fully integrated with your SkySlope account. So this is going to be an interactive disclosure tool that provides your sellers, again, those expert tips, definition, and guidance. You as an agent have full access to this. There's no additional cost to this integration. And you receive 100% completed, neat, and signed forms every time. So why use Seller Shield? This is not only for you as an agent to make you really shine as that business professional, but it's also going to protect your sellers. So this is a big key. Your sellers can opt in to home sale legal protection. Now, this is going to provide paid legal representation against any claim or dispute after the sale. So as we all know in this industry, it's always nice to have an extra layer of protection these days. So Seller Shield is really designed to really resolve a lot of those major disputes before they start to escalate. So rather than taking up time in your day to deal with the legality of certain things that pop up, here Seller Shield has you covered. So SkySlope really loves this partnership, not only, again, shining that professionalism through as agents, but your sellers receive this extra level of care. So right off the gate, you might be thinking, okay, so I might be keen to give this a try, but where am I going to locate this within SkySlope? So we actually have a couple of different routes, and I'm going to highlight this within my own demo account here today. You're going to have access to initiate this flow directly through SkySlope forms by sending your disclosures, either using a direct button to get that initiated, or it'll actually pop up and let you know, hey, these disclosures are better suited to work through Seller Shield. Additionally, you have your quick action menu in your transaction management dashboard that will initiate this workflow as well. And we further integrated this as part of our time-saving integrations. So when you're creating that property file in transaction management, a process you are already used to, it'll be very easy for you to incorporate that workflow by using that nice integration, sending these disclosures on over to your client with just a few clicks. So as you can see down below there, that webhook integration to send completed disclosures back to transaction management. You might be thinking, I don't really know what that means. Well, that is going to be us automatically assigning it to your checklist. As we know, a big part of being an agent is turning those documents into our checklist for review. With the use of Sellers Shield, once those disclosures are completed, they'll already be submitted into that checklist. So even saving you a few more moments of your day. Now I'm going to highlight how you can initiate this process here within the SkySlope platform. And then I'm going to hand it over to our amazing Miss Heather. She is from Sellers Shield, and she is going to show you what that client experience and your agent view is going to look like post-send. As a reminder, we are recording today's session. So just to give another shout out, that recording will be available through eXp Solutions over on YouTube. So you can take a look at that banner down below throughout our session. That is where today's recording will be located. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump right on over into my demo account. Let me go ahead and switch my screen share here. And I'm going to go ahead and get us started in SkySlope Forms. So as I mentioned, here within SkySlope, there are quite a few ways where you can initiate this new process. Again, we're providing that nice additional service to our clients. We know that those seller-facing disclosures can often be a bit of a hassle. So as you can see here on my SkySlope Forms home base, let's say I have this Spring Glen Drive. Now I went ahead and utilized some templates that my team has set up for me. So when I created this property card here within Forms, I went ahead and applied the different forms that I know that I'm going to need. Now, right away, as an agent, typically what I would do is I would go ahead and select the forms that I would like to send out for signature, just like so. But before I go ahead and click Fill and Send, I'm actually going to notice that Sellers Shield logo up at the top of this document here. That's an indication that this is a seller disclosure. So you'll notice if I attempt to send the seller disclosure out through the manual process, when I click Fill and Send, this nice pop-up will appear for me, letting me know that there's an easier way. So eXp is using Sellers Shield to simplify those disclosures, again, reducing that legal risk. So this would give me the opportunity to opt in and send out my disclosures using the Sellers Shield workflow. So that's going to be step one. That's our first location where we're going to be able to see that nice workflow. So already set up the same way you would normally be sending these forms right on over for signature. Secondly, let's say that I had a chance to send out some initial documents earlier today. I now have my exclusive authorization to list. So I'm going to actually create a property in SkySlope. So I have my new link to SkySlope option here. So what I'm going to notice is now when I create a file here within SkySlope, indicate we're working with a listing, going to go ahead, bring me right on over to select a checklist. Indicate we're going to get that started out here today. Provide a few additional bits of information that eXp needs to process that file. Commission, of course. And we'll get on over to those time-saving integrations. So this is what I wanted to highlight here for you. The exact same process that you're already doing in SkySlope. If you're starting within SkySlope Forms, send out those disclosures directly through the Sellers Shield integration. If you prefer, you can send out those initial listing contacts, and you can actually do that when you're creating that property file here within your SkySlope system. So this should all look very familiar. Submitting this information in over to the brokerage, I can go ahead and choose to send my disclosures out now. Same workflow. When I go ahead and click continue, that's going to go ahead and initiate that process for me, and it's going to bring up the additional details for me to go ahead and push out the correct forms. So you'll see it'll go ahead and take a look at this property address to see what's the most applicable to give me some recommendations. I would be able to go ahead, initiate that form send off with, once again, just a few clicks. Rather than navigating back into SkySlope Forms and sending disclosures out there, we went ahead and included this nice shortcut. Now I'm going to go ahead and click continue to listing. Let my demo account recalibrate itself real fast. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and land on over into our checklist. So again, if we chose not to send those disclosures out through the forms integration, if I skipped that time saver at this time, I still have the opportunity to initiate this push using the send disclosure option here through my checklist. Again, just a few clicks. It's really saving me that time. It's pulling all of the data from those other contracts and getting us started. So I have that send disclosure shortcut here through my checklist. If I once again choose not to do this through forms or my time-saving integrations. Now you might be thinking, that's awesome. There's a lot of places where I can access this disclosure integration directly through my SkySlope platform. And we are not done. We have one more place where you'll be able to access this push. I'll go ahead, jump right on back to my main transaction management dashboard. On the left-hand side of my screen here, you're going to see that quick actions menu. You're going to notice that there's a fill disclosure option directly here from your home screen. So if I click fill disclosures, let's say I want to go ahead and click create new, I would provide that property information. This would automatically create a property card within SkySlope forms. Or if I already have one existing, then I can go ahead, select the listing that I would like to initiate those disclosures on. Once again, populates that screen for me here. I can confirm that that all looks correct and choose the forms that I would like to send. So that is a lot of integration here within the SkySlope platform to make this very easy to use. Now, I've gone ahead and talked your ear off here for the first half of our session, but I'm going to turn it over to the lovely Miss Heather. Now that you know all of the ways that you can send these forms to your clients, she's going to highlight, once we go ahead and click that send forms button, what that's going to do and where that will take us. So I'll hand it right on over to you, Heather.
Thank you so much. If I could share my screen now, then I will be ready to go. All right, perfect. All right, thank you so much, Kara. My name is Heather, and I am with Sellers Shield. So I'm going to walk you guys through the seller process. So as Kara said, once you send that invite through SkySlope, what is going to happen next is your client is going to receive an email that looks like just like this. It will have your name in the email, letting them know that you have asked them to complete their disclosure forms. They will just click this button in the email, and that will take them directly to their account where they can start completing their disclosure forms. So first up, it is going to ask them to confirm their property information and then set a password for their account. From there, they'll scroll down and accept the user agreement and then hit continue. Now, first up, we are going to educate home sellers on the disclosure process. So the first thing that they are going to see is a couple of slides with some information, including mistakes disclosing the condition of the home are the #1 cause of home sale claims. And then from here, they're also going to see a list of the forms that you have selected for them to complete. Next up, we let them know that even with accurate disclosure, buyers can still sue, and that is why we offer our optional home sale legal protection. On the next page, we point out some common areas that have caused lawsuits in the past, just giving sellers some awareness on what those areas may be. And then finally, sellers are offered our legal protection. Now, we provide this for home sellers because home sellers are the only ones left unprotected if there is any type of lawsuit or buyer dispute after the sale. Agents, brokers, inspectors, title all have E&O insurance, which protects them in the transaction. But as I said, sellers are completely on their own. So if your seller purchases home sale legal protection, if there's any type of buyer dispute or demand or full-on lawsuit that your seller receives after the sale, we will immediately jump into action. We hire the seller a local qualified real estate attorney. We provide them with full support from start to finish, and then we will pay up to $75,000 of their legal fees to defend whatever that legal issue is. So this costs home sellers less than a 1-hour legal consultation, and we have no retainers and no deductibles. Now, as you'll see here, we offer sellers our 2-year protection and our 4-year protection. We have 2 ways to pay on each of our packages, the ability to pay out of closing proceeds or pay online for a discounted price. It is optional, so if your seller does not wish to purchase or if they would like to think about it, they can choose no protection. They can come back later and purchase all the way up until the date of closing. All right, now we are inside the disclosure. Up at the top here, your seller is going to have our legal tip sheet and our instructional video. Both are straightforward advice from our industry experts on key areas of concern. Those will remain stagnant at the top of the page so that your seller can access those at any time. Now, this is a very short form. I am going to fill out the whole thing so that you can see it from start to finish. But as we go through this form, we guide your sellers through the process of completing their forms. We have a lot of definitions built in for your sellers as they complete the form. Your sellers would just need to click on the definition or click on the item, and the definition drops down for them to read. As we continue down, you'll see more definitions, including what is a nuisance. And as we continue on, we also point out common problem areas that have caused lawsuits in the past, as well as questions on the forms that are considered catch-alls. So if your seller clicks on this, we explain what a catch-all question is to your home seller. We provide this for your sellers as they're going through the process so that they don't need to come to you and ask questions or look outside the disclosure form. It's all built in right here for your sellers to access as they're going through the form. Now, this is the last question on this page. I'm going to try and submit. You'll see that we do not let sellers move on to the next question until they have move on to the next section until they have answered all of the required questions. Now, on this question, if I say yes, this explanation field is going to drop down for your sellers. This explanation field is also required, so they will have to provide an explanation. And then these fields are also expandable. So your sellers can type as much information as they feel is necessary to explain the item on the disclosure form. They are not limited like they are on the traditional handwritten forms or the fillable PDFs. Now we're going to submit the form. If your sellers have more than one form, they will be guided to the next form where they can start completing that. If they are done, we will offer them the legal protection one more time. They will have the same options, including the option to say no thank you if they do not wish to purchase. And then finally, your sellers are asked to sign their forms. We have a very simple signature process. They just have to type in their name and select the date, and then they're going to hit sign all forms. That is going to put their signature, date, and initials on all of the required places on all of the forms that your sellers have completed. From there, your sellers see this congratulations, thank you for signing your forms. It is verified with a specific ID, which is unique to each seller. And then in their dashboard, they have the ability to download their forms or download a seller signature verification document if that is needed for any reason in the transaction. That's available to both agent and seller. But what happens from here, as soon as your sellers sign their forms, you as the agent will receive an email with the completed PDFs attached, and you will also have the completed forms sent directly into your SkySlope envelope. Now your seller is done, but if for any reason your seller needs to come back and make any edits or changes to the disclosure form, they have this edit button in their dashboard. They would just click that, and then they would be able to walk back through the forms, make any changes or edits necessary, re-sign, redate the forms, and you get the updated copy sent back to you in the same way and sent back into your SkySlope account. All right, that is our seller experience. I'm going to pause here and just hop back over and make sure, see if there are any questions that need to be answered. I see quite a few questions. Kira, anything that you want to point out? I can't see my screen. I can't see you guys while I'm presenting, so.
There we go. Thank you so much for launching that question here. So it looks like Marla asked, how do you opt out while in forms to send to the seller? So agents can opt out. They would just need to reach out to SkySlope support and we can get that toggled for you. But because it is a brokerage-wide partnership here, so again, earlier this year, we launched that integration as part of eXp Solutions to simplify this process. We definitely hope that you give it a try first, send it out, really enjoy all of those perks and benefits of looking like that true professional. This was all based on agent feedback to simplify the process with sending out those disclosures. So we definitely hope to hear positivity and that you guys do enjoy this integration. If you would like to toggle it off at a later time, simply reach out to SkySlope support.
Great question. Does home sale legal protection cover me if I'm selling my own property? Yes. As an agent, if you would like to purchase legal protection because you are selling your own home, you absolutely can. We unfortunately have had many agents who have been involved in lawsuits for selling their own home. So you're absolutely more than welcome to purchase that. You can purchase directly from our website if you would like to, or you can send yourself an invite to complete the disclosure forms for your own home, and then you'll have the option to purchase. If I have an existing listing, do I need to make another disclosure form? No, you'll be able to send the disclosure forms from that existing listing. Kira, do you want to touch on that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So it just kind of depends on where you're at in this process right now, Charlotte. If you've already kind of initiated that disclosure workflow the traditional route, by no means do you need to go back and kind of restart that whole process using Seller Shield. However, if you are working within a listing, I don't know if I could possibly steal that screen share back.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. There we go. So if you already have a property file up and running, just like I have this Spring Glen Drive, if I go ahead and I click in, I can go ahead and initiate that process using either the send disclosure button from up top, or once again, I can just go ahead. You can apply those templates. We have brokerage templates, as we know, through EXP, so we can bring those brokerage templates in, and a lot of them will already be containing that Seller Shield form. So when you see a form come into your file here that has the logo up at the top, if you go ahead and click fill and send, you'll have that nice pop-up here that redirects those seller-facing disclosures through that workflow. So I hope that helps. Let me know if I can further clarify.
Chuck, would you mind dropping your email into the chat, and then I can take a look at your account specifically? There might be a specific setting that we need to update for your account. The legal protection, we offer two options. We have our 2-year plan and our 4-year plan. The 2-year starts at $329, and the 4-year starts at, let me double check. I want to make sure I give you the correct price. But I will put that into the chat.
Ooh, this is a good one. So Heather asked, do Seller Shield only apply to certain disclosures? So we need to use this tool plus sending disclosures separately through DigiSign. So Seller Shield is going to, and I'll also hand that over to finish this question here. But the Seller Shield is going to be for those seller-facing disclosures, such as those questionnaires, those SPQs, TDSs, things like that. So you will still use a forms tool in order to send out the remainder. You know, if we're talking about reports or getting anything of the sort signed in that sense, anything that you as an agent would naturally fill out, that's where SkySlope forms will come into play. And it also depends on your area as well, what seller disclosures are going to be located in Seller Shield versus your forms tool.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was answering a question in the chat as well. I will drop a link into the chat for you to reference where you can see the list of the forms that we provide for each state.
Perfect. So you would be able to, so if your disclosure has that Seller Shield, Jason, for your question here. So Jason asked, yesterday I was about to prepare the RP, OADS, and the MOG, but I wasn't able to view the document themselves. The Seller Shield pop-up appeared. So yes, you're going to notice that you'll actually have the Seller Shield branded disclosures, which is the main ones that will be in the library moving forward. They are going to still have the association form in its organic state within that library. So if you're utilizing templates, the Seller Shield will be that primary through EXP's direction. So we want to encourage you to use that field, but if you do need to access the original document itself, you're looking just to maybe view it or maybe print it out, you can use your Browse Libraries feature within SkySlope Forms. So if you need to just look at the form or print it out. Charlotte asked, so where is the form that brings all details of the property? I wouldn't be able to answer that one officially if you have the name of the form, or same thing. I know that Heather's going to drop a list of the disclosures that are currently available for you within your region. So I would say double check on that list, see if any of those look familiar. Oh, I saw in reference to that recording, you'll see at the banner down below. We are recording today's session. As a reminder, this will be available on eXp Solutions through YouTube. So you'll have access to this recording. We're also going to encourage you as well to join our Slack channels. So I know that those are going to get posted over in the comments section. So to continue that conversation, ask more questions, or just simply share feedback, we definitely encourage you to join those Slack channels. Marla, understood. So Marla asked, when I had a buyer, the seller was a for sale by owner. So I was told to create all documents for both parties, one in SkySlope file, and since the EXP does not represent the for sale by owner seller. So I want to shut the seller shield off just in case. Absolutely. You can always reach out to SkySlope support, give them a heads up, let them know the situation there, and we can disengage that workflow for you. Yeah, for one-off scenarios, things like that, when you're dealing with just something just not your normal run-of-the-mill, we can absolutely advise. So you can always reach out to SkySlope support, check in, see what you should do next. Awesome, guys. So it looks like that is the bulk of our questions here. So again, feel free, ask any questions that you have now. I know that we're recording today's session, lots of questions in regards to if we're recording. So yes, absolutely, that'll be available for eXp Solutions. And then again, join those Slack channels to continue that conversation. So we'll hang out for another minute, see if any other questions trickle in. But we again, thank you guys so much for being here, taking some time out of your day to learn more about this new eXp solution that we're bringing through that SkySlope Sellers Shield partnership. Again, this is going to dramatically reduce the risk of post-sale disputes and protect both agents and brokers from that liability. So best of all, no cost to using this service at all. It's available for both our agents and our sellers, and it's not going to add any steps to your workflow. Actually, it's going to limit the amount of clicks and filling out that you need to do within the system. Oh, I'll actually double check with you, Heather. I know Marla asked one last question there. Are we able to see the filled out disclosures?
We don't have test copies or example copies of the completed disclosures, but if you go over to sellershield.com/forms, you can see which forms we do provide in your state, and then it's the same state forms that you're probably already used to sending. So we don't have, but we do have some video resources that you guys do have available through SkySlope, and we can send those over and we can put them in the Slack channels as well, and then that will walk you back through the seller experience, and then you can see an example of a form that has been completed.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you again so much for being here. We appreciate your time as always. Check in with SkySlope support if you have any questions. If you'd like to dive in further, SkySlope support's also loaded up with tons of resources that will walk you through everything that we covered here today. So check out that recording. It will be posted on YouTube at eXp Solutions Official.
Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate your time.